Welcome to the reactive film screening of Gasland, a film by Josh Fox. We're joined by the producer, Trish Adlesic. We also have on hand an expert on water quality and environmental issues in the state of New York, Kathereine Nadeau from Environmental Advocates. Gasland is a film ostensibly about natural gas drilling and the hydraulic fracturing process, but it really is a film about drinking water, the quality of your drinking water, where it will come from tomorrow.
The method of gas drilling they use is called hydraulic fracturing, or fracking. It blasts a mix of water and chemicals 8,000 feet into the ground. The fracking itself is like a mini earthquake. The intense pressure breaks apart the rock and frees up the gas. In order to frack, you need some fracking fluid, a mix of over 596 chemicals, from the unpronounceable to the unknown to the too well known.
How long until we would potentially see gross water in New York City?
How long until we would see what kind of water?
Gross water.
People don't take
action.
Gross, you said gross.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
How fast could it be that things go wrong?
It happens rapidly. I mean, it could be within a few months. So if they're drilling in the watershed and these chemicals in the flowback water, what happens in Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh on the Monongahela River, they put back flowback water into the river. So they say, okay, we take all the contaminated water, we run it through a sewage plant, an alleged sewage plant that cleans out all the chemicals, and then the brine goes back into the water supply, right? So you put it back in the river. So up to 14 million gallons a day goes in. And so we don't know. We don't have all those answers just yet, but it can happen pretty quickly.
From 1995 until 2000, when he became vice president, Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton. One of the first things he did when he became vice president was to form what was known as the Energy Task Force. They met up to 40 times with industry leaders. They only met once with members from environmental groups. The Energy Task Force were significant in the passage of what's called the Halliburton loophole to the Safe Drinking Water Act, which authorizes oil and gas drillers exclusively to inject known hazardous materials unchecked directly into or adjacent to underground drinking water supplies.
Why do you think New York State is the only place that's kind of, put the blockade up?
In 2008, there was a law passed that changed the rules that would allow this type of horizontal drilling, which would allow for the really high volume hydraulic fracturing, which is what's causing so much trouble at this point. And through some really hawk-eyed environmentalists out there and folks who had experience working in other states, they realized that this was a precursor for allowing this to come in. And so immediately hopped on and started pressuring the governor's office and the Department of Environmental Conservation. It's being put in the legislature's hands now, which is important that our lawmakers have an active role in this. And all of this, adds to the time that's being taken, which is only a good thing, and in my view, we need to take the time.
In addition to what Kathy's saying is, the mayor, you should be proud of your mayor, because he held out for a long time on this issue, and he commissioned his own study, and the study came back proving that it's unsafe, and he contacted the state and said, if you drill within the New York City watershed, the city of New York will sue the state for this. However, some of the companies, such as Chesapeake Energy Corp, said we won't drill in the New York City watershed. Doesn't mean that that's not going to happen. There is no ban in place right now for this kind of activity in any of the watersheds.
I'll interject with one question. That was the only part of the film that I found a little bit objectionable, that this issue seems to be, it shouldn't be a Republican or a Democrat, conservative or liberal issue, it's an environmental issue. And I think to polarize and try to characterize Cheney or Bush or any group of politicians as being behind something that's in the Energy Act just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
But Cheney orchestrated this. So, I mean, he was the author of the, instigating it, and he campaigned Congress and said, we're going to do this, and they conveniently slipped it in. There wasn't a lot of time to vote, and they pushed it through because they were claiming that natural gas is the alternative, cleaner burning fuel. The overall production of extraction of natural gas is just as bad as coal. So, I mean, you can look at the statistics. The burning aspect of it is maybe 10% better than coal. It's not really that significant. But, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but those are the facts. Right. Whether or not it's a partisan issue or not, those are the facts.